Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I finally have a spring candle haul. I've been chomping at the bit for a spring candle sale, and usually they have one towards the end of SAS, and they did, and it was a $10 off one, which isn't the greatest deal, but I kind of stuck to like the $26.95 ones to bring them down to $16.95, and I had a 20% off coupon, so about 13 bucks for these candles. I know we rag on like the BBW quite a bit, but I still think like the prices are reasonable for the product that you're getting. You're still getting a 3-wick candle with the most consistent like throw and strength from majority of the candle brands, with still a rather generous return policy, and you can also go into the store and smell them and not do blind purchases. There's some companies that don't even allow you to do returns or exchanges, period, and then with much more pricing, and then also shipping on there as well. So I still think BBW is still like the best bang for your buck, to be completely honest, and that's why I still continue to shop there. And it's one of my favorite candle brands because they're always pretty consistently strong and the packaging's cute and all that kind of stuff. So I still buy them despite like the $13 price point that we are faced with right now. Of course, like the $32.95 for the Valentine's Day sprinkle birthday cake repackage is like totally not the jam, so I don't really want that, and I'll probably hold off to buy the like Saint Your Intentions $29.95 ones until a better price point as well, but the $26.95 ones, I'm good to go, so I did that. But in case, I did buy these on Friday, I think, but the weekend just like totally escaped me, so I'm finally sitting down and doing this haul right now, so let me get right into it. Let's see, I just kind of bought like the ones that I kind of really wanted the most, and then also stuck to the $26.95 price point. So we'll go with, let's go with this one first. The new single fragrance launch for spring is Among the Clouds right here, and that's what that looks like. Super juicy, like neon packaging, really fun and enticing, although rather juvenile, if I had to be completely honest. This is like just totally Justice / Limited 2 vibes, that like children's clothing store in the mall, or used to be in the mall. Also very much Claire's-ish as well. I can just see this among like Beanie Boos at Claire's, among like other vibrantly colored neon like hair ties, and then maybe like a screaming child also getting their ears pierced at the outside at the ear piercing station at Claire's, along with maybe like some JoJo Siwa merchandise somewhere chilling in the background as well. Total vibes of that right here. So yeah, doesn't really fit my aesthetic. I feel like if somebody came over and saw me burning this candle, that'd be kind of like, okay, well, but it is what it is. Wildberry Skies and Wick Vanilla Clouds. Of course, I love just collecting the body care fragrances for whatever reason. They just seem so much more bespoke and juicy. So I do get it. I already did burn this one once. It's kind of a super generic, cutesy, frilly, teeny bopper fragrance, like to the nines. Like, yeah. Wow. You know, like think of like a body care version of like Candy Hearts, Unicorn Sprinkles, Pink Fairy Gumdrop. Also throw in some like Boardwalk Taffy and with very meringue and pastel skies and just like that usual cutesy, synthetic, floral, like berry vanilla body care vibe that BBW usually has going on. It's very much of this. There is quite a bit of a perfumey quality to it now that I smell it. It's like a perfumey version. There's definitely a floral in here for sure, but they're not putting that in there because floral notes usually tend to scare off their demographic, so they just put Wildberry Skies and with Vanilla Clouds. But definitely a floral perfume component in here, mixed with a very like almost tart, sugary, sweet berry vanilla fragrance that even has like traces of, I get like a Jolly Rancher, almost like a watermelon vibe to it. Like when I was burning this, I was getting seriously like a pink watermelon vibe to it as well. So if you like that Jolly Rancher candiness of pink watermelon, very similar to that feel as well, but like a body care interpretation of that. So not my favorite fragrance, but it's just fun from like a collectible standpoint, I suppose. So Among the Clouds right there. Moving on, we have the White Barn Nature collection. I went back and forth on this collection, but I was like, you know what? I keep smelling these over and over and over again. Let me just like bite the bullet and just get it done with. So we got Flowerchild first. This was a tester single wick and wallflower in that Tennessee Testor launch at one point, and so I was excited to finally see it as a full-blown 3-wick that went wide. It's White Narcissus, Cashmere Musks, and Sweet Cedarwood, not to be mistaken with the fragrance of White Narcissists. And I have burned this one multiple times already as well. This one has the thick rope-like wicks with obviously white wax. This at first was like beyond unscented. The very first burn, I couldn't smell this even for a hot moment. It was going in this room and I couldn't smell it at all. I burned it earlier today and I could actually smell it in a like smaller bedroom with lower ceilings. So I was actually like pleasantly surprised that I could smell it this time around. This I kept smelling. I was like, I have smelled this fragrance over and over and over and over again from BBW, and I was like, what is this? And it finally hit me. It like totally smells like your open sky, poppy, butterfly, sweet pea type of like that sort of sweet, clean floral that has a little bit of fruitiness in there, but then it also has heaps of that sort of like baby wipes, baby powdery type of vibe in there as well. It's like all that rolled up into one. Very similar to butterfly, open sky, and poppy. If you like any of those, I would check this one out. It's kind of like the latest iteration of that same fragrance profile they pump out over and over and over again. So Flowerchild right there. The next one we have is Under the Magnolia Tree, and that's what that looks like right here. And this one says Magnolia Petals, Lemon Zest, and Peach Blossoms. I have burned this one as well. This one I believe had the core wicks and white wax on it. Yeah, this one's nice. This one's definitely much stronger on the citrus fruit zest than it is on the floral. So it's not quite as floral as you would imagine, but there is still a trace of floral in there. What I enjoyed about this one on cold particularly was that it smelled, I guess there was a subtle natural feel to it, and I guess because these ones say White Barn Nature on it, I don't know if these are Phyto Gaia developed fragrances or not again, but there is a subtle natural, like it does evoke like fragrances that might smell out in the wild. It wasn't quite as like synthetic or fake as like Among the Clouds, so that's what I enjoyed about this one. But what you get is you get like a heap of like a lemon and a grapefruit zest in there. First and foremost, is very strong. And then you get like a very light, clean floral that is slightly reminiscent of real magnolia blooms. I have stuck my nose into many magnolia trees and the blooms. They don't really have a strong fragrance, at least the ones that I've encountered, that you have to really shove your nose in there. But they have like this slight powdery, clean, almost like soapy floral quality to it. And I feel like this captures that a little bit, but it's just like so much more emphasis on the grapefruit and citrus notes in there that are very strong on this. But it was still a nice blend of the two. Just very clean, refreshing, invigorating, slightly floral citrus fragrance is what I was getting when I was burning it. And it was much stronger than the Flowerchild fragrance, so I did appreciate that. Comparison to Southern Magnolia right here. This was the previous Magnolia fragrance that kept coming out over and over again. This one was White Gardenia, Fresh Magnolia Blooms, and Lemon Verbena. This is totally different. Not the same fragrance at all. This one has a very like almost harsh, like a harsh, bitter, just abrasive quality to it. I don't really know how to describe it, but there is something very like harsh and abrasive about this. Like that floral note is like very powdery and very pungent and intense, and just like there's a sharpness that hits your nose, like it kind of gives you a headache, mixed with a little bit of that like lemon verbena vibe in there. And overall, this is way more powdery and floral, and less, I guess, quote-unquote, pleasant than Under the Magnolia Tree is. This one has so much more of that sort of, like, regular, pleasant, palatable, fruit vibe to it that BBW is kind of known for, mixed with just a trace of floral. So that was how the two compare there. The other ones in that collection are Pink Lilac and Vanilla, which is excellent, one of my favorite fragrances, but I have so many that I needed to get it. And then Eucalyptus Springs, which I'm totally not here for, so that was that collection. Moving on, let's see, we have this collection, and we have a white t-shirt right there, and that's what that looks like. This one is Crisp Pear, Lavender Cloud, Soft Cedarwood with Natural Essential Oils. I've run this one many times too. I've been really going to town on this one. I really enjoy this one. This one's really nice. I enjoy this. If you recall, this was a test fragrance as a body care a few years back, and then it finally got the full like body care and single wick release last year, and then finally we have the 3-wick this year. So this is the first time we've seen it in 3-wick, and I was excited about that because I enjoyed this fragrance in the sense that it is like a laundry fragrance that's probably the most differentiated from all the other laundry fragrances. So we have like Fresh Sheets and Laundry Day, which are pretty like your run-of-the-mill standard like laundry detergent type of fragrance. Very soapy, very clean, that like a little bit of floral in there to evoke more of that like laundry detergent fragrance. All those are very similar to me, but I feel like this one has probably the like the most, a little bit of like a most standout action in it that I enjoy. It's nice. It's still soapy and it's still laundry by, you know, every definition of laundry fragrance. But I don't know, there's something like, slightly like, There's like a crisp cleanness and a coolness that I enjoy that you're getting from that sort of lavender fragrance that gives it that sort of sharpness, mixed with a little bit of like sweetness from the pear in there. But there's also a slight like drier, warm, drier sheets, like a white t-shirt coming out of the dryer feel to it as well. And I like the contrast of that sort of cool and the warm, which is also what I like so much about fresh coconut and cotton, because you get like that sort of warm, musky, humid coconut mixed with like a fresh, clean cotton as well. And so I like that blend, and I also like this one as well. And there's just something just a little bit different about this that isn't so like it's still laundry, but not quite as on the nose as those other ones. So I do enjoy this. It is a little bit more lighter and I guess less harsh than Laundry Day. So I do appreciate that as well. Like Laundry Day will give me a headache after 1 hour. This one I can kind of keep going for a while and it's nice. So I do appreciate that this one's actually a little bit lighter than like Laundry Day. This one was totally fine. The single wick last year was completely unscented for me. I actually exchanged that. But then the 3 wick, on the other hand, is definitely like in a good, like at least 6 to 6.5, maybe even a 7 range in a smaller bedroom. I can still smell it, and it was stronger than Flowerchild was on its first burn. So it was still a thumbs up for me, and I just really enjoy this fragrance. Kind of like when I get out of the shower and I like anticipate like sliding into bed. Kind of that vibe is what I enjoy from this one. So white t-shirt right there. I think everything else in that collection is repackages, except for Radiant Sky, which is like this lychee mango tropical fruit fragrance. Tropical fruit fragrances from BBW are my least favorite category, so that one was left on the shelf. And I believe that was that collection. Moving on, I did pick up a backup of Sea Salt and Neroli right here, and that's what that looks like. This one's excellent. I did a full review on it. Check it out. This is Salt and Neroli Blossoms, Water Eucalyptus, and Fresh Lemon Zest. Oh my gosh, I love this one. I was like, this one's so excellent that like, I'm not done with the first one, but I just know I want a second one. So while I'm using the 20% off coupon, let me just lock it in and call it a day. It's like your go-to orange blossom neroli fragrance I usually find from luxury candle markets, but you can get it for 13 bucks at BBW. So I'm all about that. Normally I have to like drop a pretty penny to get these type of orange blossom fragrances from the luxury candle market. Very similar to Zara orange flower fragrance that we've had. Super similar to In the Sun from BBW, Sun-Kissed, slightly similar to Suntan and Fresh Lemon Waves as well. That type of like beachy, tropical, resort, luxury spa fragrance that I really enjoy, and it's like evokes beachy, tropical summer without having to resort to pineapple, mango, and coconut. So I do enjoy that. I've been getting a couple of comments of whether or not this is suntan. I do not think it's suntan at all. I have burned many suntans. That's so much more on the nose sunscreen with that sort of like gluey, lotiony vibe to it. This is more of that sophisticated, slightly woodsy orange blossom neroli fragrance that is in a similar fragrance category as suntan, but it is not suntan at all by any means, at least in my opinion. And the ILNs on these do not match either. So sea salt and neroli right there. And let's see, what else? I didn't buy anything from that Golden Honeycomb collection. I was tempted to buy that, but it was just a little bit too butterscotch, caramel, generic that I didn't need that. Fresh Sheets kind of entertain me, but I have so many other lingerie fragrances that I was like, I don't know if I really need that. If there's like a really particularly good sale, maybe I'd get that one. Sunset Desert is indeed a repackage of Pepper Plum 2.0 from the Geometric Test collection with matching ILNs on those as well, so we know that's Pepper Plum. And is there anything else in that collection that was like worth talking about? I don't think so. I think that collection's pretty much, the rest of it is like repackages too. There's like a mahogany, vanilla, coconut, sandalwood. So didn't need any of that. There's the entire like Destinations collection. Most of those are all repackages as well, except for Sunset and Maui, but that's a generic tropical fruit fragrance, so I didn't need that. And then there's that whole like Deep Blue Sea, Cozy Linen, and Nectarine collection of candles. Didn't need any of those. I think those were all repackages too. Although Cozy Linen and Nectarine is a nice fragrance. I didn't love it at first last year, but I actually literally just finished that candle recently, and it's actually kind of really nice and pleasant all the way down to the bottom. It does have like this stone fruit, like nectarine skin and sweetness, where it kind of like breaks up that harsh linen quality that you normally get, and it adds a little bit of a fruitiness to it that I did enjoy. So Cozy Linen and Nectarine was nice, but didn't need anything else from that collection. Moving on, we have a few like remaining SAS finds, like one morning impulse online purchase, and then another juicy 75% off find that I found in store. So let me get right into that. So thank you so much to the tipster who let me know that this was at my store for 75% off, a lone one on the 75% off cart. And as soon as I got that message, I was like, I'm dropping everything and driving myself over to that store before they close, and bam, it was still there. So excited about that. And that's Toasted Coconut Cookie right here. This was from that fall collection. This was the fail test fragrance alongside the pumpkin mint milkshake, as well as that maple candy fragrance. And then we had Toasted Coconut Cookie. Those three did not go wide, so they were in Atlanta stores. And I really wanted to smell them, so I was excited at least to be able to snatch this one. This is Toasted Coconut Flakes, Vanilla Cookies, and Sprinkle of Cocoa Powder. I have already burned this one, as you can see right there. And this is indeed, if you watched my repackage expose video previous, then this is just a repackage of Toasted Coconut S'mores, which then became Toasted Coconut Eclair. And then for whatever reason, even though those two went wide and Toasted Coconut Eclair was really popular and blew off the shelves, Toasted Coconut Cookie did not go wide and failed instead, even though they're all the same fragrance. The ILNs on all three of these match as well. So yeah, Toasted Coconut Cookie is still a great fragrance nonetheless. I love it. I just usually, when it comes out, I don't feel the need to hoard it because it always gets really duddy and murky and gross and just absolutely nasty by the mid-range point that by the time that happens, I'm like so over the fragrance that I can't even entertain a backup of it. But then some time passes and I miss it, and then I want it, and then so like if it shows up like this, I will get it. But this is the same as those fragrance. It smells like that, exactly like the bag of those jet puffed marshmallows that is the toasted coconut variety. There's like the toasty coconut fragrance with like a sort of like powdery marshmallow sweetness mixed in there. And then you do get a hint of like a chocolate powder fragrance that's also very like dry and powdery. There's a very much like a dry, flaky feel to this fragrance, but it does kind of smell like Toasted Coconut S'mores or Eclairs, where there's a coconut fragrance, a little bit of like a sweet marshmallow powdery action, as well as a powdery chocolate dusting on there as well. I enjoy it. I don't have any more of these variations left in my collection, so there was that. I did burn it and it did smell exactly the same, so that was that right there. And then the online impulsive purchase, I was just like, let me see what's going on towards the end of SAS, and I didn't get Merry Mistletoe this year, and I really enjoy that fragrance, so I'm going to try this year's version. So I did get that one. It was 50% off, and that's what that looks like. This one is Frozen Cranberries, Sparkling Pear, Icy Peppermint, and Balsam Branches. I have burned this one as well. This one is pleasantly more juicy and fruitier than the previous year's version. So there was the original Slatkin version, which is the best by far, and this one's more closer to that. And then the ones kind of in between that they released for like Candle Day, for some reason had like this harsh, bitter bergamot like cologne vibe to it that wasn't as juicy as the original like orange juice sparkling cocktail note that was in the original Slatkin version. And I feel like this one kind of is closer to that very first version. I think the first version is still by far the best, and very much splitting hairs here. Let me emphasize that, very much splitting hairs, but as a Merry Mistletoe, like, I guess connoisseur, so to speak, I just kind of like dissect each version, and I feel like this one's closer to the first version, because there's a more sweeter, juicier vibe, and less of that, like, weird, harsh, bitter bergamot that I was getting in the later versions, so I do appreciate that, but as a trade-off, it is lighter than the previous year's versions, but I could still smell it enough in a smaller bedroom, so I was okay with that. So that was Merry Mistletoe right there. If you haven't smelled this, it's simply excellent. It's like the best like combination of this juicy, sweet pear, cranberry, orange like cocktail blend, like a bowl of punch, and then mixed with like the natural sweet sappiness of balsam branches, and you mix that together and it's like this fruity, awesome, non like chemical, non-harsh, non-synthetic version of like a, I guess, fruity pine fragrance. Simply excellent. Love it. And then I love this year's version of this candle. It burned flawless all the way down to the bottom, and I was like, I really wouldn't mind having another one, so I did get Banana Walnut Muffin right there. Simply excellent. I blew through the first one of this so quickly. Sweet Banana, Golden Nutmeg, and Cinnamon Sugar Muffin. Kind of messy, because I think it like had some temperature change issues there, but you can see that right there. Oh my god, so good. Very like realistic, true like an Otis Spunkmeyer muffin. There's like a saltiness to it and a crunchy warmth to it with the nuts, but enough of that sweet banana muffin in there. There's something slightly like soy saucy about it, but I don't know. I just like this. It's like a very unique and like distinctly BBW's Banana Walnut Muffin blend that's not the same generic like banana bread fragrance oil that you see like everywhere else, so I do enjoy this one. Banana Walnut Muffin right there. And very strong as well. And lastly, I think I got a free reward, so I redeemed it for Fresh Coconut and Cotton Body Care. I love this fragrance, both in the candle that came out for the 3-wick and the single wick last year as well. And I was like, I didn't actually pick up the body care even though I enjoyed it so much last year when I tested it in store. So I was like, let me redeem it for a shower gel. Kind of drab, depressing, boring packaging to be completely honest, but it's, I guess, what's inside that counts. This is Coconut, Coastal Breeze, and Beachside Cotton. I was just talking about this earlier in the video. It's this awesome, like, warm, humid, musky coconut mixed with a slight floral component. Think of like an orange flower, neroli, orange blossom vibe is definitely in there again, mixed with a nice, crisp, clean cotton fragrance. But then the way that the coconut interacts with the cotton, it also gives it like a warm, hot, out of the dryer cotton feel to it as well. So I just love that like interaction of those notes. It's like this tropical, beachy cotton fragrance that I really enjoy. So I do like using this one. I feel like it's not as strong as like the fragrance oil shows up in the candle. It's a little bit more like watered down in the shower gel than I would have anticipated, but I don't know. That's that right there. Super, super similar to, if anybody remembers, Forever Beach Days from long ago. I love this one. This one was my favorite out of that collection. This is Fresh Beach Cotton, Tiare Flower, Saltwater Breeze, Orange Blossom, and Golden Suntan Musk. So even the notes are very, very, very similar on the two. But this one is a more sweeter, juicier, more robust version, and less on the nose on the cotton, but still cotton in there nonetheless. This is just like a slightly different take on it, but both fragrances are very similar. I love this. And I think I still prefer this one a little bit more because there's a little bit more of like a juicy sweetness and maybe a little bit more floral action going on and less cottony than this one, but still enjoy both nonetheless. So that was that right there. And I believe that is the entire haul. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you picked up any of these candles, if you participated in the $10 off sale. Let me know what you picked up in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.